Thanks again, everyone, for joining us. We're just waiting for Ms. Lawrence to get her presentation together, and then we can start.
Are you able to see it?
Yes, we can see your presentation.
Okay, I'm going to put it in PowerPoint mode, and then you can let me know when you're ready to start.
Okay, we could go ahead and get started now.
So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much, Margaret, for allowing me this opportunity to present information on SBA's capital access programs. I went off camera because that helps to improve my bandwidth. As we, oops, it's not, okay. As we go through the presentation, this is my contact information, but as we're going through the presentation, I'm going to cover information on SBA's guarantee loan programs, the small business investment companies, or SBICs, and our surety bond guarantee program. So with SBA, we assist primarily in two basic areas: non-financial assistance, which includes government contracting, and financial assistance, which includes the programs we're going to cover today. So let's look at the sources of financing available from SBA. We have our 7A loan program. Wherever you see section 7A or 8A or 7J, that just has reference to that section of the Small Business Act that gives us the authority to do what we do. So under our 7A loan program, we have the SBA Express loan, which can serve as a line of credit for individuals who need to get money right away. We also have our CAP lines, which is another line of credit program. The Community Advantage loan program is there for those individuals who have difficulty getting financing on reasonable terms. And of course, for our veterans, we have the Veterans Advantage Loan Program. For those who are interested in exporting and international trade, we have assistance available to you. If you are one who's looking to purchase owner-occupied real estate, then the 504 loan program under our Certified Development Company program would be of value to you. And for the small business investment companies where SBA has approved these SBICs to invest in small businesses, and we're going to talk about that, you may not need 150,000 or 200,000 or even 100,000. So if you need $50,000 or less, the microloan program will be a benefit to you. And of course, since we are always in the midst of a disaster, we can no longer just say hurricane season, because we have tornadoes and flooding. Then SBA provides disaster assistance. So let's look at each of these programs. Under the 7A Guarantee Loan Program, generally, SBA can guarantee loans up to $5 million with a bank or a non-bank lender. So as I go through this presentation, you'll hear me refer to lenders rather than just banks, because we do work with non-bank lenders. Our guarantee on loans up to $150,000 is 85%. And on loans $150,000 and above, 75%. And what that guarantee does is to give the lender a comfort level of being able to make the loan to you if they look at it and they see that what you're offering is not strong enough for them to want to make the loan on their own without SBA's guarantee. Our maximum exposure to any one borrower is 3 3/4%. And that, I'm sorry, 3 3/4 million rather. And that could be a combination of loans as long as we don't exceed 3 3/4 million. Our guarantee encourages the lenders to make more loans to small businesses and also to make those smaller loans. What we hear from lenders is that it costs them just as much to make a $25,000 loan as it does to make a $200,000 loan. So our guarantee is there to encourage the lender. So what that guarantee does for the lender is to give them that assurance that in the event there is a default on a loan that SBA guarantees, that SBA will step up to the plate and honor its guarantee of either 75%, 85%, or if it's an express loan, 50%. So with those smaller loans, as I just mentioned, the lenders will say, well, it costs us just as much to do these small loans as it does to do a larger loans. So what SBA offers that the lenders can do is charge a higher interest rate. Now, SBA is not in competition with the lenders. We're there if the lenders need that assurance from SBA. So when we're looking at the interest rate for loans that are less than 7 years and up to $25,000, the lender can charge prime plus 4.25%. For those loans above $25,000 and up to $50,000, the lender can charge prime plus 3.25%. And for those loans over $50,000 and less than 7 years, the lender can charge prime plus 2.25%. So what we're doing is giving the lender a maximum that they can charge, that they cannot exceed in terms of the interest. For loans that have a maturity of 7 years or greater, and the loan is up to $25,000, the lender can charge prime plus 4.75%. And then for loans above $25,000 and up to $50,000, prime plus 3.75%. And then over $50,000, prime plus 2.25%. So typically, the longer terms are given to repay SBA's guaranteed loans. So what does that do for you? Generally, the lender may only want to go 3 years for a working capital loan. With SBA's guarantee, they can go up to 5 years on a working capital loan. For equipment, they may only want to go 7 years. With SBA's guarantee, they can go longer, 7 to 10 years, or even up to 15 years, depending upon the useful life of the equipment. So what does that longer repayment term give you? We're hoping that that will help to improve your cash flow while you're paying on this loan. So how can you use the proceeds from an SBA loan? Almost for anything. So whereas a lender, you may have those lenders who are not interested in doing loans to new businesses, to startups. SBA's loan proceeds can be used for startup businesses. And for some lenders, they may look at a startup as someone as being in business for 2 years or less, some of them 3 years or less. So we know that there are lenders who are not generally interested in doing those startup loans, and we have those who we know are doing those startup loans. So if you're a lender, your bank of account, your credit union is not doing startup loans, reach out to us. We'll connect you with a lender relations specialist, and they will put you in touch with someone who's actually doing those types of loans. You can also use the loans for debt restructure, or you may refer to it as debt consolidation. What SBA is looking for in determining whether or not we will approve that loan is whether or not there's going to be an increase in cash flow for the borrower, and also to ensure that the lender is not in a position to sustain a loss on those loans that are being consolidated. If you're looking at purchasing a business or business buyout, of course, a business valuation will be required by the lender and SBA, but make sure you know what it is that you're purchasing and that you've done some research on that business and its customers. Why is that important? A few years ago, I received a call from someone who had purchased a pharmacy in a small town. And of course, a lot of the customers that were having their prescriptions filled there went to this one primary doctor. But when that pharmacy got ready to sell out, they neglected to tell the person who was buying the business that that physician was retiring, and that there were some other customers who were leaving. So whereas this individual thought they were purchasing a very lucrative business, they had to go about trying to rebuild that business, regain customers, or identify new customers. Just make sure you know what you're getting if you're doing a business buyout. On our express loan, this program was put in place so that you could get your money more quickly. And in fiscal year 2021, we increased the maximum for the express loan to $500,000. It used to be $350,000. So if the loan is $50,000 or less, the interest rate is prime plus 6.5%, and loans over $50,000, the interest rate is prime plus 4.5%. Generally, the maturity is 10 years, and it comes with SBA's 50% guarantee to the lender. We've streamlined the process, and we have approved express lenders that you can use. And as I mentioned earlier, this loan can be used as a line of credit. For our Community Advantage loan program, this program is to assist those individuals whose balance sheet may not look that favorably. So the loan is not based upon necessarily what's on your balance sheet, but keep in mind that repayment ability, your being able to demonstrate that, is going to be key. So we've expanded the Community Advantage Loan Program to include opportunity zones, because opportunity zones is a program in areas where people may be looking to invest. Right now, the maximum is $250,000, but there are some changes that are coming to the Community Advantage Loan Program that I'm not at liberty to discuss at this time. It is designed to assist underserved markets. So the underserved markets would include our socioeconomic individuals, our startup businesses, and those businesses that are located in depressed areas or high areas where there's high level of unemployment. We work with the community development financial institutions, the CDFIs, our certified development corporations or CDCs, our micro lenders, and our intermediary lenders who actually target these markets. Notice that for Community Advantage, our guarantee is 85%. Remember earlier I mentioned that when a loan is over $150,000, our guarantee is 75%, but to encourage the lenders to make the loans to those underserved markets, we're allowing them the benefit of an 85% guarantee. The interest rate is slightly higher, it's prime plus 6%. And when we look at the maturity, of course, we're looking at your ability to repay the loan and what's going to be the best repayment plan for you. So with working capital and machinery and equipment loans, we can go up to 10 years. And for real estate, we can go up to 25 years on the maturity. So this program is designed to assist rural areas, hub zone areas, and opportunity zones and socioeconomic groups. For those lenders as an incentive who are interested in making the loan of $150,000 or less to those businesses that are located in hub zone areas, there is no annual service fee and there is a lower upfront guarantee fee that the lender has to pay to SBA. So now let's look at our Veterans Advantage loan program. Our maximum on those loans is $350,000. And notice we can do an 85% guarantee for our lender, our veterans, even if the loan goes above $150,000. There is no upfront guarantee fee that the bank has to charge. And also the terms are up to 10 years for equipment and up to 25 years for real estate. The business has to be at least 51% owned, controlled, and daily managed by veterans, service disabled veterans, active duty military service members that are participating in the TAP or the Transition Assistance Program, reservists and National Guard members, or the spouses of any veteran or active duty service member or reservist or National Guard member, or the widowed spouse of a service member who died while in service or of a service-connected disability would be eligible. So not only are our veterans and service members eligible for the Veterans Advantage Loan Program, their spouses are as well. If you're looking at purchasing owner-occupied real estate or building owner-occupied real estate, the best program for you would be that Certified Development Program. So why do I say that? Because that provides long-term fixed rate financing for you. It's for those long-term assets like land, buildings, and long-term machinery and equipment, even movable equipment. If you are a manufacturer, we can guarantee a loan up to $5.5 million for manufacturers. If you're in another industry, the maximum loan is $5 million. The maturity is generally 20 to 25 years for real estate and 10 years for heavy equipment. And as I mentioned, it's for owner-occupied real estate. So if you're purchasing an existing facility, you must occupy at least 51%, and for new construction, at least 60%, with the intent that you will be taking over the entire facility. So this program is not for investment purposes. The interest rate is generally below market fixed rates. The maximum loan amount is up to 40% of the total project. So how does this work? You will work with a lender who will provide the senior loan for 50% of the project without SBA's guarantee. SBA's guarantee comes in with the certified development company that is participating, and they have the junior lien position of up to 40%. So if you are an existing business, your investment toward the deal would be 10%. And if you are a startup, your investment would be 15% toward the deal. Microloans, we work with our intermediaries. We provide funding to them, and they in turn loan the money on SBA's behalf. The loan can range between $500 and $50,000. The maximum maturity is 6 years. This program comes with technical assistance and free business counseling, and there is no early payoff penalty. The microloan carries a higher interest rate, and it's between 8 and 13%. Of course, you're able to negotiate the interest rate and the maturity on all of our loan programs with your lender or with our intermediary. If you are in exporting and international trade, or interested in engaging in exporting and international trade, take advantage of our STEP program, and STEP is State Trade Expansion Program. And this is actually a grant program that has training associated with it. Now, the way the program works is that you would put out the money up front, and then you would apply to the state, who is the entity that is facilitating the STEP program for SBA. So you can use it for training to learn how to export, to participate in foreign trade missions, and also trade shows, like there's a fee for that, or to obtain services to support your entering a foreign market, or translating your website to attract foreign buyers, and to design international marketing products or campaigns. So as I mentioned, you would expend the funds first, and then you would apply for reimbursement. Also, for those interested in exporting and international trade, we have an express loan for exporting. The maximum amount is $500,000. You'll negotiate the interest rate with the lender, but the lender cannot exceed prime plus 6.5%. But notice, on the export express loan, SBA's guarantee is 90%. Now, when it comes to the maturity, it's still up to 25 years for real estate, up to 10 years for equipment, and for lines of credit, up to 7 years. So that's the difference between the regular 7A loans and the export loans. For the international trade loan, this can be used to assist you in expanding or entering into international trade markets, and to help you improve your competitiveness against other businesses who are already in those markets. The maximum is $5 million. You'll negotiate the interest rate and the terms with the lender, but notice the maximum, regardless of the maturity, is prime plus 2.75%, and SBA guarantees the loan 90%. For our export working capital loan program, this program is there to assist you in meeting your short-term working capital needs. So you can use it to purchase products, or to purchase the raw materials that you need to make the products that you're proposing to export. You can also use this for financing your receivables. It can be used as a line of credit. Again, $5 million maximum loan amount. The terms are generally 1 year, because it's a short-term loan with a 3-year maximum, and SBA guarantees 90% regardless of the amount. So what's important to SBA and the lender? You must be able to demonstrate repayment ability from the earnings of the business. You must possess good character. You must submit a feasible business plan. So you have to submit something in writing to the lender that is feasible and attainable. We're concerned about your expertise in this industry. So we want to look at management, your commitment. Your commitment comes from your skin in the game, how much you're investing in this business. Even with SBA's guarantee, we cannot do 100% financing, that you have sufficient funds to operate the business. So we're not interested in offering you less than what it is that you determine you need to finance the business, and your willingness to offer collateral to support the loan. Now, SBA is not a collateral lender, so we will not decline a loan solely for lack of collateral. For our small business investment company program, or our SBICs, yes, SBA regulates this program. And what we do is we approve investment companies or investors who can participate in this program. These are private investors who are using their private funds along with SBA's guaranteed capital. They're interested in investing in qualifying small businesses, and they actually determine which businesses it is in which they want to invest. And they will participate as either limited partners and invest funds. So we provide a guarantee to these investment companies. You receive either a loan, an equity injection, or a combination of both. The SBIC will determine the level at which they want to participate. So as I mentioned, they're going to have a targeted industry in which they're interested in participating. Some of them are only interested in certain geographic locations. How long you've been in business will be of importance to them. The type of financing that you're seeking, either an equity injection, a loan, or just an investment, would be important, and the size of the financing you need. Some other considerations the SBICs will consider is the maturity of the business, whether or not the business has been profitable, and that you have sufficient cash flow to pay interest on the loan. For the economic injury disaster loan, that program has closed as it relates to receiving new applications, and also the targeted idle advance program has closed. Now, the last date that we were able to process reevaluation of those targeted idle advances was February 15, 2022. So that basically has ended. Even though the application process for new applications has expired, we are still allowing those who have submitted applications, if you were approved, to request an increase, and you have until May 6, 2022 to request an increase on your approved COVID idle loan. If you were declined, you can request reconsideration within 6 months of the decline, but we're not really holding the businesses to that 6 months. We're looking at applications beyond that time. If you're declined on reconsideration, you can appeal that decision within 30 days. However, after the appeal, if you're declined, there are no other considerations. So some tips for success. We encourage you to get guidance before you submit your application. Basically, develop a working relationship with one of our resource partners, like the Small Business Development Center, the Women's Business Resource Center. If you're a veteran, our Veterans Business Outreach Center, SCORE, or now our community navigators. Be specific in defining your lending needs. So you want to make sure that you determine if a loan is right for you at this time. And in determining your needs, you want to make sure that you're indicating how much you need, how you're going to use the proceeds, and make sure that that's included in your business plan. Keep clear records, file your taxes on time, track your cash inventory and your accounts receivable and payroll and payables, and just basically make sure you're looking at your financial statements on a regular basis. If your lender is not making the type of loan that you need, then speak to multiple lenders, but make sure that you are checking all of the options for financing. And I'll conclude by just sharing a little bit of information on our surety bond guarantee program. If you are in the construction industry or service industry that requires a bond, SBA can provide bid, performance, and payment bonds on your behalf, where we are guaranteeing a bond using SBA approved sureties. Our guarantee is intended to strengthen your ability in getting the bonding that you need, and to increase your access to bonding opportunities. As with our loan guarantee program, if you default on a contract, then SBA assumes a percentage of that bond. that loss. We can guarantee bonds on contracts up to 6.5 million. If it's a federal contract, up to 10 million. If we have a quick application, which reduces the amount of paperwork that you have to submit for up to bonds up to 400,000. We have a prior approval program where we can guarantee 90% on bonds up to 100,000 and on bonds to our certified 8A firms and SDBs. And on all other bonds, 80%. Prior approval means your bond application is submitted through the surety to SBA for us to approve. For the preferred surety bond program, our guarantee is 70%. So you have to be a small business. We're the Small Business Administration. So you have to be small, that's independently owned and operated. You possess a good reputation in the industry and in the community. You're not debarred or suspended or otherwise ineligible for doing business with the government. You haven't defaulted on any previously guaranteed bonds. You must be a US citizen or a registered legal alien, and you must be able to ensure satisfactory performance of that contract. So that concludes my presentation. This is my contact information. And thank you all so much for your attention and for listening. And back to you, Margaret.
Thanks, Ms. Lawrence, for that great information. My name is Margaret McGee. I'm the Office of Economic Development Business Services Manager. Business services assist entrepreneurs and business owners in starting and growing their business. We help in navigating through the different departments within city government to obtain permits and occupational licenses. We also connect the business community with organizations that could provide technical assistance, incentives, resources, and other programs beneficial in operating your business. One way we do this is by hosting these business information sessions. These sessions are held throughout the year, and topics are gathered from entrepreneurs, surveys, and information we collect from the business community. Next, we have LiftFund Louisiana, a local nonprofit organization that makes capital more accessible to help small business owners create wealth for themselves. Provide small business loans to understand business owners, especially minority and women-owned entrepreneurs. Mr. Daniel Friedman, Business Development Officer, will provide an overview of their organization and services that they provide. I have placed Ms. Lawrence and Mr. Friedman's contact information in the chat. Please hold all questions place all questions in the chat box, and we'll have our Vista intern, Tiandra Kaufman, answer them in the question and answer section. Now I'll go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Friedman.
Thank you, Margaret. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Daniel Friedman with LiftFund, and I'll pull up a PowerPoint presentation, but just real quick, a little bit about me. I've been in New Orleans for 1 year now. I grew up in the DC area in Maryland. I went to the University of Maryland, graduated in Spanish, actually. And I worked for 5 years at another SBA micro lender called the Latino Economic Development Center. So senior loan operations there, oversaw our Paycheck Protection Program loans primarily over the past couple of years. But also just, rounding out the professional background, I worked over 10 years with a small farm. They're based in Gettysburg, and I helped them at their farmers markets in the DC area. All right, so let's get into this presentation. Let me get it in. Whoops, full screen for y'all. 1 sec. This little toolbar is in my way here. Let's see. Show beginning. All right, thanks for bearing with me. So, LiftFund is a nonprofit organization. We are a community development financial institution, a community development corporation or certified development company, and a SBA microlender. So we do the SBA Community Advantage. We also do the SBA 504 program, but it is currently only available in Texas, where LiftFund is headquartered in San Antonio, a number of offices in Texas. I'm here in New Orleans. I'm sure you saw I'm working from home today, but we do have our office on Claiborne at Esplanade. And I'm one of a few of the employees that are outside of Texas. So I cover Louisiana, Mississippi, and Arkansas. I've got a colleague in Alabama and Georgia, and really kind of cover the whole southern states, 15 states right now, still growing. And we have various programs. So for example, as I mentioned, the 504 program, which you heard a little bit about in terms of real estate, right now only available in Texas, but we have our own real estate loan that we've developed where we can do commercial property, or if you already established yourself as an investment real estate company, we can help you purchase properties in like low to moderate income areas, or kind of promote tenants that are low to moderate income. And just various sources of capital. We have a program with veterans where we're able to offer an interest rate that's reduced to like 5% instead of our typical rate, which is more around 9%. But at the end of the day, we just provide small business loans, term loans secured with collateral up to $250,000. And we are that affordable, accessible alternative option. So a lot of our clients try to go to a bank and get rejected, or maybe they just know that they don't have the credit score or the time in business to get a traditional loan. So they come to us, and we can start as small as $1,000 and kind of grow with you from there. So a little bit more about LiftFund. Our loans do go up to $250,000, $500,000 when we're in that real estate kind of realm, but I would kind of emphasize our average loan size is $23,000. So kind of the micro lending is really our bread and butter. And we do have the other side of the house, which is business support, the technical assistance, business advice. For example, at LiftFund, we classify a startup as a company that is 6 months or less in operations. So we would require a business plan in those cases, and we have templates that we can, provide you with and work with you one-on-one to kind of fulfill those types of requirements. And as you can see with our borrower profile here, startups are over a third of our portfolio. So it is something that we are pretty active in, but really all kinds of businesses that you can think of, other than, adult entertainment or sort of sin businesses, but any sort of mom and pop shop. We do a lot of trucking, for example. But yeah, here in Louisiana, yesterday I was doing a guest speaker engagement, a panel at El Centro. So, work with partners like True Fund. There's a whole network of organizations here to support you. And, if we can't do something for you, or if you need some sort of service that we don't provide, we can always kind of plug you in where we need to, so that, I guess what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of organizations that aren't necessarily in competition with each other, but we can provide you what you need to grow your business. So go on to the next slide here, just a little bit more about LiftFund since it began in 1994. You can see over 419 million in funding, and there's a cool study that shows that for every dollar we lend, there's a positive return of $14 in economic activity, which you could think about in the way of job creation, the tax revenue for city of New Orleans on the business profits. It's just a really big impact, and the small businesses really drive the engine of the economy. So we're just trying to lift up as our title suggests, we actually started as Axion, which is an international kind of brand of organizations, and sort of rebranded to LiftFund. And I think in 2009, we established our offices here in New Orleans. So over 25,000 loans, just thousands of jobs that we've created and helped retain. And so I'd also put this graphic here to show a little bit more about what we've done in Louisiana. So this is, since 2009, our average loan size was 15,000. I know that in New Orleans, it's a little bit higher. I think it's like 27,000. And I think in last year in Louisiana, it was even a little higher, like 19,000. But sort of that range is often what we're providing. And as you can see, plenty of consultation hours, diverse, background of our borrowers. Sometimes it's pretty much an even split with, for example, women-owned or other types of businesses, but kind of ebbs and flows, overwhelmingly low to moderate income borrowers. So just kind of speeding through here because I do want to get to the question and answer session. So we do provide credit review, how to access capital, financial education, planning and management. Those are kind of the three topics that come up the most in terms of the different products that we have at LiftFund, different products that you might qualify at, in a traditional setting or otherwise, kind of as a prelude to the answer I would give about the question in the chat about, no collateral or, no personal guarantee or these things. Sometimes I recommend if you're starting out or you just need something small, quick and easy, occasionally it makes more sense to get a personal loan. It's just a lot easier than getting a business loan in some cases. But you do have to be careful online with high interest rates. Some people charge you every week or every day. It's really a bad spiral. So we kind of exist in that middle ground between the traditional banks and the online lenders that sometimes are a little bit more predatory. But, we'll explain kind of the whole landscape to you. We'll let you know, what we'll be able to do, what you might want to think about if now's not the right time. But we try to focus on making it easy on you, reducing the burden through technology. For example, we have a loan readiness tool, kind of a 12-question evaluation that I usually talk through any client that is interested in a loan. It's based on all the loans that we've done so far, and it's not an exhaustive underwriting. We're not pulling your credit or anything, but we just talk through it, and we have a pretty good predictor approximation of what we'll be able to do for you, and it kind of helps identify any like strong or weak points that you might want to consider before submitting the application, where we would pull your credit, of course. But we use different public record information to try to reduce, if we don't have to ask you for certain identity information or about your business filings, we'll try to pull that online. We have a program called Plaid where you could sign into your bank account and it'll pull that information for you, so you don't have to download a bunch of statements and save those PDFs, email them over. We just try to look at as many parameters as we can. As you can see, over 40. So, a lot of lenders might be a little quicker if they're automating in terms of we're just going off the credit score, or do they just kind of simplify things, but we take a little bit more of a holistic approach. We start by trying to approve you and then, figure out if there's something that, we would be hesitant because we don't want to put you on, give you a debt that, stresses you out and you're not able to service. So usually we try to identify any opportunity that's, a win-win where it's comfortable repayment, helps you grow, and, makes sense all around. So, and I guess I'd also just mention the pre-loan technical assistance. So, we definitely work with you on the application. A lot of folks, they enter in the details best of their ability, but we can change the amount that you're requesting. We can go through and fix the monthly budget information. We can say, well, actually, this counts as collateral, and this, think about this liability. So we're here to support you all along the way and, help put the application together. So, I just encourage you to kind of, work and go forward and sort of, to the best of your ability and not worry too much in terms of getting it exactly right, because we'll work together in figuring out, what are the real financials and the real situation that, the real scenario that we have to work with. So yeah, just kind of keep us in mind as a resource. I like to say we're not here to sell you on anything. We're a nonprofit. We're here as an option for you, especially if it doesn't work out at the bank. Keep us in mind. Be glad to talk through your specific situation, connect you to some business support or other available support in our local ecosystem here. And we'll just kind of leave it on this last slide for a second if you want to copy that down. But I know that my information is also in the chat, and we'll send out a PDF of this presentation afterwards. So I guess I will kick it back to you, Margaret. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that information. Now we'll turn it over to Ms. Tiandra, our Vista intern, and she will do the question and answers. Mr. Nunez, before we get started, we can talk offline about becoming a future speaker. I'll get with you so we could set up a time so we could talk about that. I'll go ahead and turn it over to you now, Tiandra.
Thank you, Ms. Margaret. Okay, so the first question we have here, this was when Ms. Lawrence was speaking. We have, can you explain SBICs or SSBICs and LMI? Also, do you have any programs that are no collateral, no credit check, or no personal guarantees?
So for the small business investment company program, that's where the investment companies that have expertise are able to provide investments or loans in certain industries. And so SBA provides they will receive guaranteed funds from SBA, and then in turn, they will use a portion of their personal monies to provide these investments to the businesses. They will have specific industries in which they're interested in participating. Not all the time are they interested in new companies or startup companies. And then they'll have certain geographic areas in which they're interested in investing. Now, LMI is the low to moderate income individuals. When it comes to SBA and we're looking at those groups, we look at our socioeconomic groups, which would be the Black Americans, Hispanic Americans, Native Americans, Asian Americans, subcontinent Asian Americans, but also that includes women and our veterans and those that may be located in rural areas. So did I get all of the question? There were like several parts to it. Did I hit them all?
He also said, do you have any programs that are no collateral, no credit check, or no personal guarantees?
On all of the programs, because you're dealing with a lender, they will do a credit check. SBA relies upon the lender. So when it comes to SBA, we will be, the lender will be checking credit. As it relates to collateral, SBA will not deny a loan solely for lack of collateral. However, SBA and the lender will expect that you will pledge whatever collateral is available if it's determined that collateral is needed. That goes toward your commitment toward the deal. And what else? Collateral, credit check, and what else?
No personal guarantees.
You will be required to personally guarantee the loan. Again, it lends itself to your commitment to the success of the business.
Okay. Let's see, we also have, how can our loan programs and investment programs be included as your resources?
So if you're interested in becoming an SBA approved lender or non-bank lender, there is a form we call it the 750 form that you have to complete and submit to SBA. If you're interested in becoming a micro lender intermediary, then there is an application process for that as well. So if you email me, I can get that information to you, directly, and to let you know how you can become an SBA lender. So we are looking for lenders to participate in our microloan program. We're always looking for more microloans lenders. We're also always looking for SBA guaranteed lenders. So reach out to me, I'll get the information to you.
Okay, we also have, so this one will be for both Ms. Lawrence and Mr. Friedman. We have, would the loan process be better if we started with the SBA or directly with the lender?
So because our loans are made in conjunction with the lenders, the only loans that we make directly are our disaster loans. So you will work with your lender. However, before speaking to your lender, we would like for you to sit down with one of our resource partners like SCORE or one of our community navigators or the SBDCs or the Women's Business Resource Center to discuss what it is that you're proposing to do and your lending needs. And I'll allow Mr. Friedman from LiftFund to address that too, because as one of our micro lenders, that program comes with technical assistance and counseling. So Daniel?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I would say we certainly get a number of referrals from the SBA. It doesn't hurt to approach a lender first, I don't think. I mean, it's just a matter of getting the right match, and the SBA is there as a facilitator. They can really guide you to, they know the lenders very intimately, so they can say, you know what, LiftFund would be the best option, or XYZ. Of course, I'm biased towards LiftFund, but in terms of, the technical assistance, right? So, we have our programs, there's the small business development centers, there's SCORE, there's women business centers. So it really is about, for example, sometimes I offer, if you need in person, maybe check out the local small business development center. Comfortable working virtually, we have someone that can pair you up with. So, yeah, I would say that. Did I miss a second part of the question? And it was,
let's see. It was just one part. There was a question for you. What programs do you have that, okay, basically the same thing he asked Ms. Lawrence. What are the programs that you have that are no collateral, no credit check, or no personal guarantees?
Yeah, well, so I can speak to that from my perspective. Essentially, the Small Business Administration's programs are kind of like the gold standard, is how I think about it. Most programs are mirrored off of that. So at LiftFund, any business owner that has a 20% or more stake is going to be required to personally guarantee the loan. All of our loans are secured with collateral, as Ms. Lawrence was saying. If it's available and it's applicable to the situation, we're going to look to see that you're committed to the project and willing to put that up. We don't want your car, we don't want, your assets, but we want to see that you're so confident and that there is something there as, to mitigate the risk, because, it is a loan. So we have to kind of abide by the norms and regulations there in terms of making sure that we get repaid and such. So if you're looking for something unsecured, once you get to that stage where you can go to a traditional bank, sometimes they have lines of credits where they can maybe look at a Dun & Bradstreet score and focus less. They might still, pull the primary applicant's credit, but they might not require collateral, for example. They might be comfortable with looking at your financials and saying, you know what, you can access up to 50,000, 100,000, whatever it might be. So as your business gets more established and grows to more of like a medium-sized company, I would say, or a large corporation, then you might be able to get away with, no personal guarantee, no collateral, that kind of thing.
And may I add, just for consideration, that is that when there is a reluctance to share, to commit to offering collateral that is available, okay, then that raises the question of how committed are you to the deal? How committed are you to the success of the business? As Daniel mentioned, we're not interested in taking your home or your car or anything like that, but we at least need to see that you're committed to the success of that business.
And while you're on that subject, Ms. Lawrence, so I saw you on the slide, there was like you said, commitment and your background. So what kind of things would SBA be looking for in the lenders, that's in your background? I know you said, like not being disbarred or things like that. So like regular people who is not a lawyer or anything, what kind of things should they have in their background?
So with respect to the owners, we like to see them have some experience or expertise in what it is that they're proposing to do, because that's going to help with supporting that they have the management ability to successfully operate the business, but also depending upon the type of industry that they have the expertise to ensure the success of the business. You may have a management team or some key employees behind you that's going to help you achieve success. So we will want to see not only your resume, but also the resume of those key employees and those managers. If there are any required licenses or permits, we want to see that you have those. And if they're in your name, or if you're going to be relying on a key employee for that required license or permit to operate. If there's been an incarceration, because there are some proposals coming down to make it easier for those who have been incarcerated to get financing that they need. So it just depends upon what the felony was. The other thing is, of course, and people chuckle when I say this, that you can't be incarcerated or on parole. Probation may be acceptable, but it's a lot of things are electronic. So they got computers in the prison. So I'll add that with respect to the background. The other thing is, you cannot have defaulted on any other SBA financing or government financing. And that would include student loans and other guaranteed loans from other federal agencies. And you must be current on your taxes. And if you are delinquent or owe taxes, you must be in a repayment plan. We always say there's only one government. So those are some of the things that we're looking at in the background.
All right, we also have here, can you elaborate on the Vets Advantage Loan Program and how spouses of veterans may apply for this particular initiative?
So with the Veterans Advantage Loan Program, that was put in place to assist our veterans and our servicemen members. So we thank all of you for your support and for your dedication and sacrifices. So that's why we have that program in place to assist you in starting a business or expanding or growing. The spouses would apply the same way as you would. They would actually approach their bank or lender of record about applying for a small business loan. So we encourage you to talk to that commercial lender about a small business loan and not necessarily say, I want an SBA loan. Sometimes that gives a negative message to the lender, to the loan officer, and thinking, okay, already this is a bad loan. And we know that that's not the case. So the spouse would approach the commercial lender or the small business lender about a loan. They'll have their loan proposal prepared with their business plan, be specific about the needs. and how they will use their proceeds. So they would do the same thing as you, as the veteran, would do in applying for the loan.
Thank you for that.
Mhm.
We have, so this is for both of you guys. Do they require a business plan for all loans?
So if you speak to some of the lenders, they want to see something. Okay, it may not be something that's 30 or 40 pages, but they want to see that you have something in writing, some kind of plan in place. And that's going to help you be able to intelligently present what it is that you need and how you're going to use the funds. So if you go to sba.gov/LA for Louisiana, or just sba.gov, and you go over to the section that says financing or capital access, there's a link there for a lean business plan. We encourage you to use that in preparing, that clear and concise business plan that you will submit to the lender. So you will need to submit some type of plan to the lender.
Yeah, I'll just add that LiftFund, we're probably on the more flexible side, and we pretty much only require a business plan if you're a startup, which again, we classify as less than 6 months in operations. Or I would also, kind of apply that to a situation where maybe you're opening a new location and, it's kind of starting from scratch again in like your second restaurant or whatever that situation might be. But, depending on the loan amount, for example, under 20,000, we have what's called an informal business plan. I think it's 1 or 2 pages. And we have a formal business plan. As I was mentioning earlier, I think we have templates to help you with the budget, the projections, the narrative piece of the plan. And so, we're here to support. So I wouldn't sweat it if you don't have one together yet. So we'll help you get those ideas on paper and figure it out.
Okay, we have here, what is your agenda for May and June? I'm not sure. I think we would need a little bit more information. Do you guys understand what he's asking?
So if they're asking regarding scheduling an appointment, for me in May, I'm already booked through the 3rd week of May. The first 2 weeks we'll be on the road. Next week is Small Business Week. The following week we're up in North Louisiana. And then that 3rd week, we're down toward the south, like in Hammond and Lafayette and some other areas in Baton Rouge. So I'm booked the first 3 weeks of May already. I may have some availability. Well, no, the last week of May is Get Certified month. So I'll be in Baton Rouge every day. I think we start whatever that Monday is. I'll be in Baton Rouge every day that last week of May. So I'm booked all of May. I don't even want to think about June. I have to check June to see. May is always a busy month for us because that's when Small Business Week is, and we always schedule a lot of events. So for right now, I know that June 1st, we have our annual disaster conference in Baton Rouge. We're going to do it in person. That's going to be a hybrid. On June 2nd, I'm participating in a disaster event with the Houston District Office. So it looks like things start to lighten up on June 3rd. And let's see what's on June 6th. June 6th.
And Ms. Lawrence, I'll go ahead and add, maybe that's something that particular attendee can maybe email you.
Sure.
And maybe set up some time to meet.
Thank you. Thank you, Margaret.
All right, next question we have is, For LiftFund, please elaborate on the technical assistance you provide. Does someone have to have a loan with you to get that assistance?
No, you don't have to have a loan with us. LiftFund has the business support department independent from the lending department. In Texas, we actually run 2 women's business centers. And we do have one of our business support staff that's able to meet virtually with you. So I'm glad to make that connection and set up a virtual meeting on her calendar if that's something you're interested in.
And then we have, they're asking, are you covering all 3 states? And if so, how are you able to cover all that territory for loans and especially for technical assistance?
Well, they certainly keep me busy. I was just talking to a colleague at another nonprofit coming from the banking world, and they're saying, "Oh, nonprofits so relaxed." I was like, "Oof, not here at LiftFund." But I'm processing a lot of loans from all over our 15-state footprint. I would love to be doing more in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Arkansas, and I'm starting to build that pipeline. But it's definitely a grind. I mean, I guess I would say our focus is on folks that are ready to go. Within 10 days, we want to get all the documents together. We want to knock it out, get you the funding within a couple weeks or so. So, if you're not sure, if you want to start by having that consultation, do the business plan first, figure out exactly how you're going to use the funds, gather those tax returns and bank statements and other documents that we might need so that once you're ready, it's set to go, because we can't really drag things out too much. I do have to be kind of strategic with the way I use my time. We used to have staff on the ground in Arkansas and I think 10 different staff in Louisiana, and just kind of retooled it a little bit. And so it's just me for now, but I'm here to drive those applications and improve our portfolio here to a point where we can hire more staff. And I think that is the goal, to really grow. And with technical assistance, we have one person virtually that's available for you. So in terms of capacity, I would potentially connect you with the Small Business Development Center, contact in Lafayette and Baton Rouge, of course, New Orleans. There's various other organizations, so it's a team effort. It doesn't necessarily have to be just with us.
Okay, and we have one more. We may have financing for loans that you reject. How do we discuss? That's for you, LiftFund.
Send me an email. We'll figure it out. I will say, I probably didn't elaborate on it enough in my presentation, but for example, we don't have a minimum credit score at LiftFund. It will certainly limit the amount of funding that we're able to provide, but as long as you're current on your obligations in the past 6 months, even if your credit score is in the 400s, we might be able to figure something out for you. So, if we're disappointed when we're not able to fund it, but if there is another option that we can provide and steer some referrals, we'll be glad to do that, because just as other bankers refer folks to LiftFund when they're not able to help, we do the same. It's like, well, you know what, work on XYZ, maybe you should talk to this other organization. They might be able to help in the interim. They'll come back in 6 months, that sort of thing. So yeah, send me an email regarding that, and anyone else that wants to talk further about your specific situation. I'd be glad to help.
I actually have a question for Ms. Lawrence. I know our time is running out, but I was wondering, for the SBA loans, is it like you guys are intentional on getting loan approvals, or is it just is it unbiased, or is one of the goals or objectives is to get a high approval rate?
So our goal is to approve as many loans as we can. Generally, if that loan makes it to SBA, we're going to approve it. because, the lender has demonstrated that, they have confidence in the loan, except for they may not be wanting to be on the hook for the entire amount. So if it makes it into SBA's portal, we're going to approve it. Now, the only way we would not be able to approve it is if it violates any of our regulations, or if the borrower is not a small business, or if they're delinquent on federal debt, or if they've defaulted on any of SBA's other loan programs, even the surety bond guarantees. Like I said, it's one government and we're going to check everything. But passing that, we generally approve everything we get.
So what about the lenders? Is it hard to, are they known for, being hard on people who are doing the applications for the loans?
It just depends upon the lender. And that's why we suggest starting with your lender of account. Someone that is familiar with your business or you as an individual, someone that has an idea of what money is flowing through their bank, that you're using. And I do know that some of the lenders will check like your checking accounts to see how you are spending your money. So for instance, one lender mentioned that if they see there's a lot there from a casino, that raises a red flag for them. So it just depends upon the lender. And that's why I mentioned earlier that there are lenders who are interested in doing certain types of loans. Your lender may not be. So that's where you can reach out to SBA and say, hey, I went to my lender. They're not doing these types of loans. Can you recommend someone? And in doing that, we will refer you to one of our approved guaranteed lenders. So it's really up to the lender.
All right, well, that's all the questions. Do you have anything, Miss Margaret?
Actually, there's one more question. It says, do we go to SBA website to apply for all these loans? If not, do you have paperwork with the lender's information on it?
You will go to your lender, to whoever your bank is, and that's where you're going to start. The lenders are allowed to use their own application forms. What I have that I can share with you is what you need to take to the lender. But you will go to your lender. You will not come to SBA first. If you go to our SBA's website, you will see on there as well what you need to take to the lender. You're not going to necessarily see a list of lenders because, some lenders are just in certain states. So what we're able to do is, if you're interested in an express loan, provide you a list of our express lenders. Also, we've been working to get our resource guide posted back to our website. And that's where we had a list of our approved lenders posted as well.
Okay, so that seems like it concludes the questions. If there's no more questions, I would like to go ahead and thank everyone for joining today, especially our guest speakers for their awesome presentations. Within 5 to 10 business days, this session will be available on the Office of Economic Development YouTube channel, along with previous recorded sessions. I will email all presentations to attendees within 1 to 3 business days. I hope these sessions were beneficial to you and your business. This concludes April sessions, and we plan to host more sessions in June. So remember to check your email for that updated information. Again, my name is Margaret McGee. My phone number is 504-658-4237. And my email is MOMcgee, MAGEE @NOLA.gov. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. And I wish everyone a great day. Thanks again.
Thank you so much, Margaret, for inviting me. It was my pleasure to participate.
Yes, always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
And
Bye,
thanks,
guys.
Daniel, for joining. This was his first time coming on. So thank you, Daniel.
Glad to be here. Thanks for the invite and see everybody next time.
All right. Thanks. Bye, everyone.